tobacco roll.
Now I gotta tell you, as this day gets underway, that old Grandpa wouldn't disappoint you, you know. Now, normally I don't smoke them Camel cigarettes, no matter how manly they make me feel, you know, and justify my feminine existence in the masculine reality. I mean, for Christ's sakes, I mean, get with the program. It's a Camel, don't you see? Well, the other side of it, and I just do those occasionally when I get lazy and tired and don't want to roll my own, you know, then I'll do one of those. Or if I need a little soothing on the throat and I just happen to get lucky enough to have a Camel crush, then I'll smoke one of those once in a while too. Everything you do in a divine way only can enhance you, wouldn't you say? But the normal brand I smoke is like Zen. You know, I don't know if I could ever display it on film, but you can see it. It's a brand name on a tube. You see, what I normally do is I take raw tobacco and that's shredded already, and I, drop it into this little trough on this machine I got, and it injects that into a tube, and then I got a cigarette, and that's what I normally smoke is Zen. That's the tubes, man. And that Zen name carries an energy with it, and so when I'm smoking, I'm in the Zen, man, And I can use the Camel guy to augment it a little bit, to add the tough guy reality to it, You kidding, man? My lungs were made to be a smokestack, babies. I'm a transformative prayer in motion, don't you know? And that's not a bragatory thing coming from the egoic side. That's a comedic thing coming from the Coyote heart. You guys at the tobacco companies got to realize, this guy's on your side in a way. If you just fulfill your purpose and show divine intent and purity, and just follow your heart, the cigarettes you put out be far different than what you're doing today now, wouldn't they? They wouldn't be addictive in the first place, ever. There's nothing addictive about them. Ever. You take the impregnation out of the paper, of course, you just give them a pure product, And if they're a bunch of wussies like me and they got to have a filter tip to keep all that tobacco from sticking to you, well, then there you go. Let them have a nice, righteous, organic filter made out of cotton. It ain't going to hurt nothing or nobody, and the fibers ain't going to kill you, make your lungs inflame and eventually become cancerous. You think I don't know the recipe? It ain't the tobacco. Tobacco is a healer, a strengthening herb. Much in the same way as Mary J., only this does have a little more masculine energy in it. It's more of a balanced thing. And that's what tobacco's lesson is. It's about balance, purity. It's about transforming the illusion of harm and the impregnation of pain by those who are thoughtless, heartless, cruel, beyond imagining. Emptiness through which empty beings can operate, and that's what, obliterates the cigarette industry. And here I am, your fucking poster boy, man. I mean, I'm the only advocate you got left. I mean, all of your friends have turned against you, and you've had to diversify and go by other natures of corporations and shit, and that ain't in your nature. You're there to honor the tobacco presence and to give it a presence in this reality that's acceptable, that isn't something offensive and a causer and creator of lung problems, etc., but it's a blessing to everyone that consumes of it in one way or another. It's not something that's overly consumed either. We've had a lot of tough and anxiousness to run through, so for some of us it's been a soothing thing too. It's a reminder of the mother's love in the masculinity. See, it has a nature to it, an energy, as all things do. And see, so we were torn from our hearts because we had to be men and prove ourselves in this reality. I don't care if you came from a tribe or European stock or whatever. You had to do it. You know what I mean? Even down there in Africa and in Asia and in South America and Australia, everywhere. You had to prove it, The girls wouldn't like you if you didn't, I mean, that was the veiled threat, and it was never really spoken. Sometimes it was. Girls ain't gonna like you, kid, if you don't be tough. You wanna go play football now? Shit. Make us into a bunch of gorillas, man. But see, if we remind ourselves of the softer side of ourselves in a tough guy sort of way, that's the zen of smoking tobacco. And see, when you find that innocent purity, that kind of real motivation inside of yourself, you just set yourself from free of any harmful effects, no matter what they put in the filters and the papers that would cause it to be otherwise, in what we see as a normal reality. You have to remember, this is the presence of a divine dream. You can dream it any way you want. So we can dream the tobacco companies right back for all their monopolistic tendencies and their, wizardry in the background. We'll just transform them right back into something sacred, something pure, something divine of the heart. And they offer their product without harmful intent, with purity, and they offer pure tobacco in that way that's grown from pure earth. It ain't, sacrificed to the chemical gods. That rises from pure shit, just like everything else does. You want to find beauty and truth, you go to hell. And stay there for a while and, ferment a bit, just like shit does, in the soil of life. And then you become the creative flower from which the essence of life expresses itself so beautifully. And just glitters out into the reality. This is a blossom that can be stopped. Born of such purity and pure intent. That's what gets our energy through the bullshit reality. That's what makes us the actors in the play. We hold that purity throughout all of it. And yeah, our shit don't stink because there ain't no shit. There ain't no fertile soil. There's nothing but a heart that really loves itself and wants to create a lot of divine experience for itself, and that's where the soil and the shit and everything else comes from. See, that's the innocence in it. It's like a script writer creating a script, and they just let their imagination run wild and go wherever it takes them, then go back and correct whatever mistakes they might have made in the process. Life is the same way, only it's written of the heart. And while we all feel it so God blessed personal, its reality is the strength of it is within ourselves, the pure love that is direct and real. That's the masculine side of the feminine. See, we're all of the feminine in the sense that we're all of the nurturing love and arise from the mother. That's what your belly button and your little titties tell you. Or your big ones, as the case may be. Congratulations. Just kidding, baby. You got to be a little bit mystical, metaphorical, and very lighthearted about this, or you just won't catch on to the divine presence yet. But that's all right. You don't have to. There are no requirements here, and there's no urgency in our love. It just has its presence. See, the urgency is born of a thing called time. And it says, oh, you've only got so much time. There's death awaiting you, and you better grab all you can get. And man, I can't say I haven't lived that way, Before I realized the reality of death bringing you to life, and then I realized I needed to appreciate every moment I lived and just nurture it greatly, so that I could experience the richness in every moment. That was the lesson of the past that brought me present. If I could enrich every moment by experiencing it on the true dynamic and the level of the heart, then there was no indigenous mystery that could get me, nothing that could obliterate my history, nothing that could harm my heart any longer. Because I was pure and innocent in the activity of the moment, as an actor is in the play, following the scenes as dictated by the heart, the scriptwriter. You see? And the producer and director and actor and the whole crew can't help but put into being what the scriptwriter has created in some way. That doesn't mean they can't morph upon it and change it around and make it be what they want it to be and send the scriptwriter back to hell to go recreate it in another way. But, that's the freedom of the director and the producer and the actors within it. We're all creative. And we all have our degrees in creation. And that's not necessarily our, a designation like a college degree is, but it's more the designation of the heart, our place within it, the degree with which we experience it and expand and grow into all the other degrees. That's why it's felt so limited here, because we didn't have the degrees. So we had to go to college and earn those motherfuckers, you know what I mean? And it was a B-I-T-C, you know what. You know, I'm not even going to repeat it. Forgive me for any expressed vulgarity here, man. I don't mean to get in the way of it. But it's a way of shocking you back into your reality, of challenging your sensibilities. To use the vulgarest terms in a heartfelt sort of way, so you can understand the poetry of the comedy here, you see. When I say motherfucker, I'm really making fun of us in a real pure and simple sort of way, because in our own way, you know, what that represents in our life is a truth. And it's not an insulting or sleazy thing whatsoever. It's a pure love. It means, yeah, we are all of our mother. We are the love of our mother in motion. And there's nothing screwed up about it whatsoever. All of us are a generation of our mother. Each and every one of us, and we can't help but pass it into the next generation. Until we come to this presence where, again, we step out of the anterior roles we've played. Those that really aren't ourselves, but just expressions of ourselves. Lived as purely as we can be, as given by the scriptwriter of the heart. There's a magic in this little dance, baby. There's an awakening happening. There's something going on there. There's some mystery in these metaphorical words and terminologies and energies this old man is flowing into being through this creative reality called the Coyote Medicine Show. Yeah, in a hazy place called the Hazy Radio Network. HazyRadio.com. We got it. Oh, nothing hazy about it. You want to get it clear, tune in here, baby. Each and every one of the programs got a bunch of new ones coming now. You know, this network's coming back to life, babies. Because we've endured. And we've proven to ourselves that nothing can stop us. Nothing can stop the flow. Nothing can get in our way, and nothing ever is. That was the illusion. We had to feel like we'd earned it in some way, so we give ourselves a whole bunch of problematic things to work our way through. I mean, God. And they were brilliant in their expression. I mean, there couldn't have been a better scriptwriter. Never, not ever. I don't care what their name is. You know, even Mark Twain himself could not, well, maybe he'd come close. You got to tell I like Mark Twain, you know. He knew the Coyote way, man. He was quite the righteous dude. He's one of my guiding souls and spirits, you know, that help me through the way here, you know. I mean, we all have them, you know. We all have these little helpers that live inside of our conscious presence and move us energetically and whisper little things in our mind that only we can hear, supposedly. And we all have those presences, and it's part of our magic, you know. It's part of our awakening to remember that. Because they've been there in every moment that we lived, again reminding us of the purity of our experience there. That's what's got us through it. Those silent little whispers that ain't so silent after all. The reminder that, wow, you're present in every moment, and your experience of it is rich, you know. And no matter how dramatic or trying it might be, and it gets really gritty, it's just a role you're playing, an experience you're having, so that you can understand the deepness and, you know, the grittiness, that which the beauty of life is born of, and learn to appreciate that too. Because that's so much a part of that dynamic that's untrue. Real love only creates real love in motion. The rest of it's an experience we've chosen. Yes, indeedy. On the grand stage of life. Living as the love as pure as we could. Given in a warped sort of way. Boy, beauty. Ugliness. That was so beautiful. Sleaziness, so slimy. You could almost, God, dissolve all life into that ugly, pure, impure place, you know, and then love yourself for it. I mean, it's that sleazy. Whew. But the truth of the reality of the loving experience in it, flowing through it, and it wasn't sleazy after all, was it? Wasn't that easy either. But here's the one thing we can remind ourselves of and be present in, no matter what. We made it. We are alive, and we're coming back into the full presence of our person. We're not allowing the interference of any anterior experience to take us away from that. We're pure in our living expressions of love. We are the life that we are living, given from the loving harmony of the heart of everything innocent and pure in the reality of love that we live in. Nothing destructive is about to happen, and nothing destructive ever will be again. Because we've given up on that frame of reference, and we will no longer live there. It's so impure and it so corrupts the heart. But we needed that corruption to purify ourselves. We needed the pain to remind us of the love that exists without pain. Pure love. That loves itself into creation. Nothing serious about it. It's a dancing, howling, singing kind of thing. Same way the coyote is. And it's generous beyond belief. See, now you tobacco companies can take your poster boy here and you can use my image, etc. Well, you got to talk to me first, man. Make the arrangements. I'll only do this if you come clean. Take the shit out of the filters, take the shit out of the papers, take the crap out of the tobacco, and stop manufacturing anything but pure love in motion. And then we can talk. I'll be your poster boy, and you can pay me hundreds of millions of dollars by donating to my foundation, so I can bring everybody back to a healthy life where they won't die of lung cancer or any other miserable sucking thing we've invented here. Period. End of story. You want to help finance the end of death? Well, come and let me be your poster boy. But you got to promise to be the end of it too and play your part in it. See, that's all there is to it. And it's not a promise I'm asking. It's a commitment, a flow, a redirection of the capital reality, the reality of your insane capital, money. We can drive it in really inspired and inspirational sort of ways, using the existing structures and presences we have, even though it's evil and it's corporate. And it's been as impure as all that, and guided and directed by the hollowness of the heart, which is pure and simply unreal and unimaginable too. So give it up, live in the presence of this heart, you leaders and directors of the tobacco industry, and I'll be your poster boy. And I'll help you share the pure essence of your love, and we'll all be rich beyond our greatest dreams, and powerful to boot. But not in this greedy, empty sort of way, but in the way that, creation would only have itself be a loving expression, experiencing and joy. That's the only way it can be. It's given of a heart that innocent. That's the mother love. And it's in tobacco too, and that's what tobacco reminds you of. Now how's that for a little lesson in Zen? A morning wake-up call, given with a grin and a hearty handshake too. Right to your heart, dear. Yes, indeedy. That's what we do here on the Coyote Medicine Show with Grandpa, your mystical little host, dancing around the Coyote way as we get out in the Elysian fields of life and play today. It's a wobbly Wednesday that's wobbling us right into the wildest and most truthful dynamic of unreality we could ever be. Because the unreal is real and the pure is simple and love is in motion everywhere. Wow. Don't you care, man? Oh my God. Yeah, I mean, wow. No. Relax and settle into it, kids. It's on you now. It's with you. It's who you are. If we can dream of it, we're already there. You see? Let your imagination experience its pure view. Don't let the warped window disguise it from you any longer. The window isn't there, and neither is the pain that holds it. There's some lessons we're learning here to see through the unlove and know the presence of truth. Gosh, I just love it.
Tobacco roll.